Hi, I'm Dr. Woody. I'm here with Dr. Lisa Williams, founder and CEO of World of EPI, and also a 2013 EY Entrepreneurial Winning Woman. So glad to have you here, and congratulations.
Thank you.
So I want to find out a little bit about what is World of EPI and where the idea came from.
Well, World of EPI stands for being the world of entertainment, publishing, and inspiration.
Okay.
And so we do a line of toys called Positively Perfect, which represents our E for entertainment. We also have a line of books, which is our P for publishing.
Okay.
And then I still do executive training, keynote presentation, and that's our I for inspiration.
The inspiration side.
Exactly.
So I want to get to that, the inspiration for launching this. And you know, in an earlier conversation, you told me a lot about your background as an academic in the world of supply chain. So how did you make that switch from being in academia into being an entrepreneur, which seems like a pretty dramatic change?
It was a pretty dramatic change,
Yeah.
and it wasn't an easy decision for me to make because I was fortunate enough to be a full professor with an endowed chair.
Oh, wow.
So I had a job for life,
Yeah.
and I only taught 2 or 3 days a week. I had summers off, Christmases off, the whole 9 yards.
Oh, wow.
But I wanted to do something more. I figured that in my heart, I wanted to give back more. And so there are many ways of doing that, but for me, it was leaving the academy and going out to do executive training and keynotes for the executive population.
Okay. And so then, you know, when you launched the company and as you've, you know, brought it along and that moving from entrepreneur to now business leader, what have been some of the struggles you've had in really leading people?
Leading people can be a challenge.
Right?
It's also the joys. It's kind of like parenting, right? What's the hardest
Sure.
thing you'll ever do is be a parent, where the greatest joys you'll ever have, being a parent.
Okay.
So it's very similar to that. I mean, my people are where I get my creative energy and the juices, and they contribute tremendous to the organization. And of course, managing people can be a challenge at times.
So as a leader then,
Yes.
What are some of the core values or principles that you rely on to guide how you lead people in the decisions you make?
Well, for me, what we do is we design toys for multicultural children. It is very important that children of color get to see themselves reflected back in positive play. As we know from the 1950s doll study, where they asked Caucasian children as well as African American children to rate the beauty and the intelligence of dolls based upon their color of their skin. And back in the 50s and 40s, it was clear that African Americans, as well as Caucasians, believed that the African American child was ugly, not intelligent, and they did not want to be friends with them.
Okay.
Sad. But it was thought that here we are with an African American president, a beautiful first lady, celebrities on the cover of magazines, that truly this has changed. So Anderson Cooper and Soledad O'Brien redid the study.
Okay.
I am sitting on my sofa watching this report, and I saw a little girl, beautiful chocolate skin, say to the interviewer, "I don't like the dark skin doll." And the interviewer says, "Why don't you?" And she said, "Because her skin is ugly, just like mine." And she touched her skin and said her skin was, and it always chokes me up.
In this day and age, it just seems so shocking. So you saw this, and as that kicked in your entrepreneurial spirit and desire to be a problem solver.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. So I said, I have to do something. You have to do something. Little girls are having low self-esteem, which is
Right.
impacting how they're seeing themselves, how they're interacting with their classmates, whether or not they
Sure.
speak up in class, whether they allow their creativity to flow, and ultimately how they're contributing to society. So I wanted to make a difference on a generational level. And so that's right, my entrepreneurial spirit kicked in, as well as my passion as a mom, and I said, I have to do something.
And then those core values in you that you lead from, I mean, you know, how do you instill that in the people around you, the people that you bring on as you've scaled the company?
That's one of our core issues, can we cut?
challenge or problem?
Yeah. That's one of our core challenges,
Right.
is making sure that we find the right talent. The person that's talented not only as a creative designer, for example,
right,
but
right.
also has that passion for children and wanting to make the world a better place.
But that's tough, right? It's tough to find that and necessarily do that. So
It is tough, but I
Right.
tell you, it starts from the top. It starts with me. So I have to make those decisions. I have to make those tough decisions. And I'll tell you an example of what changed my entire organization for good
Okay.
and better,
Okay.
and worse in some
Yeah,
cases.
yeah.
And that is, so we designed a line of dolls for multicultural children. It is very important that that doll beautifully reflect the unique beauty in children of color. So I had gone back and forth to my factory, working with them to make sure that the
Right.
skin tones are correct, because I custom blend all of our skin tones, making sure the sculpts were beautiful, reflecting the beautiful full lips and the beautiful noses. And I finally got the doll exactly the way that I want. So then I said, yes, go ahead and ship them to our largest supplier. In this case, it's
Right.
Walmart, who's been incredibly supportive
Sure,
of
sure.
us and our mission and our company. The dolls arrived. I receive a phone call from Walmart, and they say, Dr. Lisa, let me send you a picture of your dolls. And I'm like, oh, yay, I'd love to see them.
Sure, sure.
Well, unfortunately, in shipping, I had one doll that had a beautiful afro puff on the top of her head. In shipping, the ribbon came loose. When the ribbon came loose, the hair fell down. And what was revealed is that the factory had cut corners, and the doll's scalp was completely bald.
Ah,
So I had a bald doll. Broke my heart because it was not the image that I wanted our little girls
Sure,
to
right,
have.
right.
Of course, I didn't want my supplier, Walmart, to be disappointed either.
Right.
So after talking to Walmart, I said, I'm going to make a tough decision. Send them all back, because they do not reflect the beauty in our children. They do not reflect my vision. They do not reflect the message that I want our children to have. So in partnership with Walmart, we shipped the dolls back to the factory.
wow.
So that's where a value judgment comes
Right,
in.
right, as a
That
leader.
negatively affected my revenue, because that was a year where I had put the money out in terms of production, and I received no revenue coming in.
Right,
So
right.
for an entire year, there was no revenue. What does that equal? Bankruptcy for my case.
Sure, yeah,
So
yeah.
I made a decision that literally bankrupted my company, because my values were, I have to be true, and I have to make the right decisions for those little girls that are on the floor playing with those dolls.
Right. Well, it's a fascinating story, and it's really interesting how you relied on your values to go back to that. But thank you so much for sitting down with me. I appreciate the time.
Thank you.
And
My pleasure.
congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Okay.